when she offered it, just take it.
Yeah.
99% of the population can't afford to send their kids to Yale.
Yeah. And your girlfriend is like, here is the money for it. It's like, it's basically like if you bought a sandwich.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, your newbie, the greenhorn, what are we calling me these days, Leif?
I'm not sure, but I do know that the Lord can't enter a body sullied by alcohol.
Well, that's pretty good, because I like to be the one doing the entering.
All right.
He's so disgusting. So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since it first aired, and I'm tuning in for the first time. And together, we are your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
That's right. Each week we'll be taking a deep dive into the show, one episode at a time. We'll analyze all the hidden parallels, obscure references, and we're also going to take a look at the behind-the-scenes gossip and some stories from fandom along the way.
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always room for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So grab a mimosa, some coffee, or maybe some of Nate and Chuck's special medicine, and let's go ahead and get started.
And this episode will be releasing on February 3rd, but the week we are recording is right after all the LA fires broke out. A lot of homes destroyed, including Leighton Meester and Adam Brody.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of this on the way up of, our hearts definitely go out to all of you in LA going through this. Yeah. Robin's close friend lives out there. She's trying to get him to leave the city because he keeps saying, oh, it's not, I'm safe in my house, but you can't go outside. It's just smoke everywhere. So be safe out in LA if anyone is listening to us out there.
But also this week, Leighton's trailer for her new show on the CW came out.
No kidding.
Yes, she is doing a show called Good Cop, Bad Cop. Premieres in February.
Okay.
It appears she's part of a family of cops. Her father is played by Clancy Brown.
Okay.
Adam Brody is going to have a cameo in at least one episode.
Well, all right. Personally, I'm so over cop shows. Like
I was over them always.
I was a huge Law and Order fan at one point, and there were a few other shows along the way, but for the most part, like you said, I'm not a huge.
It doesn't appear from the trailer this is a procedural per se. It's more of a comedy.
Okay,
it's like a family comedy type. It's a sitcom.
Okay. I'm probably going to give it a chance because I love her. I liked her in How I Met Your Father, which was also not a great show. I don't need a show to be great to watch it. Leif will tell you that I enjoy a lot of really, really terrible stuff. I'm typically the guy in our friend group who likes everything except The Lord of the Rings, which baffles everybody.
But we are here to talk about Gossip Girl today. We're going into Season 2, Episode 23, The Wrath of Khan.
I loved the title here. I got a good chuckle of it at the end of last episode. Yes. Great reference to Star Trek. I really wanted them at some point to... You were conned. Khan!
The original air date for this episode was May 4th, 2009. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Interesting to have a Star Trek reference on May the 4th.
Episode was written by Sarah Goodman. This is her first episode of Gossip Girl and only her third writing job. However, she does go on to be a mainstay in the writer's room all the way through the show's final season. And most recently, she is the showrunner for the Cruel Intentions remake.
I didn't realize there was a Cruel Intentions remake. Have you seen it?
I've watched a couple episodes. It's not horrible, but the actors just aren't Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
That movie is, it's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's there aren't many movies I will actually call perfect, but I feel like that one through and through is a perfect movie. Also, the writing on this episode, it's obvious why she got a nod to stay in the room.
Yeah.
The writing in this episode is damn near impeccable.
Yeah. The episode was directed by Janice Cook, who previously directed episode 116, All About My Brother, and then episodes 3 and 16 in season 2, The Dark Knight and You've Got Yale.
So it's interesting. She did the other Georgina episode, right? Wasn't All About My Brother was when,
that's when
Eric came out, right? She outed Eric,
yes.
yeah. And so another Georgina episode. Again, this episode I felt was well directed and really well written.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and give us that Vulture recap?
Sure thing. In your face, all you parent groups who decried Gossip Girl as a sensationalist, immoral piece of trash. This episode, the second to last one before the season finale, reminded us that this show is not merely a sensationalist, immoral piece of trash. It's a tool for learning. For instance, this episode introduced its audience to the new vocabulary word, socialite. It's a word we like almost as much as mochalite, which we coined, and we suspect Gabriel is. Plus, the kids at home were schooled about issues in the news. Ponzi scheme. Very brief recap this week.
Yes, short and sweet. And yeah, just tried to Google mochalite, and I still don't know what it means.
Or mochalite?
Yeah, mochalite's probably better.
Yeah, it's probably mochalite.
There's links to stream mochalite music.
Much as mochalite.
There's a Moshaverse.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's lost.
Oh, a male socialite, maybe?
Can men not be socialites?
I don't know. We're out of my league here. Can men be socialites? Or is it, because I mean, they don't go out at the debutante ball. You know, that's for the women. They just escort, right?
Yeah. We go into the episode. We begin Act 1 with a monologue. 4 wise men once said, I get by with a little help from my friends. But on the Upper East Side, there's an added challenge of finding out who those friends really are.
Yeah. Love the Beatles reference.
Don't know if it makes sense, though. But yeah,
not at all, but I love that they made it.
Yes. We begin almost right where we left off last week. Chuck is riding in a cab back to the city. He calls Serena, who apologizes that she didn't believe him sooner. Georgina is still with Chuck and still playing up the Jesus card.
I don't believe there's been any other episode that picks up immediately following the previous episode like this.
I think the previous Georgina run where after Serena says, I killed someone, it kind of picks up.
You're right. It picks up right there with her and Blair talking about it.
But going back to the good writing, directing, and also, I guess, costume design, they're all wearing the same clothes. And you could tell some of them are a little bit wrinkly looking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good work by the prop department there.
It was, all in all, it was seamless. This was essentially a 2-part episode without the to be continued.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I was kind of excited to be immersed right back into the next moment when usually it's a couple days.
Serena enters her apartment with the intention of telling Lily about Gabriel skipping town, but Lily sidetracks her with a lavish gift. Because Lily is suddenly so proud of Serena, Serena doesn't reveal the sauce. She instead calls Blair. I smell a scheme brewing.
I smell a, I'll take care of this by one of the kids again. Don't worry, I'll handle it by one of the kids.
But again, also, back to the writing. This is not the first time in this episode they set something up that pays off later on with the bracelet.
Yeah.
Nate and Blair are still arguing about the apartment, but Blair needs to go help Serena now. In the end, Nate decides to tag along this time.
And I was glad he did, because I love that this episode is another non-judging Breakfast Club episode.
Everyone's stories are intertwined.
Yes.
The entire cast, except for Vanessa, who's not in the episode.
Thank God. That's fine.
I also thought this was an interesting parallel to previous scenes with Dan and Serena, where Dan is always understanding when Serena needs to drop everything to go help Blair. But
Yeah.
Nate was a little more not understanding.
Yeah, that is true. Although Nate also, I was surprised in the previous episode that Nate didn't do anything to help Serena. That Nate was very selfish in the moment. I want to do this thing with you, Blair. And now that has kind of, to a degree, blown over, they still have more to talk about. But Nate being like, well, I'm going with you, I was actually glad that it's like, good, you need to be involved with.
No, it's good that he went with her, but the initial reaction of not wanting her to go to help Serena.
Yeah. Was
I'm not saying that's how bad, but it's just an interesting parallel with the Dan and Serena scenes previously.
You're right. Especially with the relationship that Blair and Serena have. They drop everything. No matter how much we hate each other,
yeah,
we drop everything for each other. So you're right.
Dan gets that, but Nate is still getting there, I guess.
Yeah. Although Dan got tired of it too, though. By the end of that relationship, especially 1 year ago from now, when Serena wasn't telling him what was going on.
But that wasn't to go help Blair. That was just to go
that was
party with Georgina or whatever she was doing.
Well, and covering up the murder she didn't commit.
Yes. The Humphreys are walking down the street. Rufus is still on cloud 9. He announces that he is going to propose to Lily after getting Eric's permission. Dan cuts out to try to convince Serena to come to brunch.
First of all, Rufus is too happy.
Zippity-doo-dah.
Yeah. Also, I feel like his acting, I always forget his name.
Matthew Settle.
I always feel like his acting kind of he's better at some things than others, and he's not very good at happy. Like, I feel like whenever he's happy, someone was like, act happy. And that's what we get.
Yeah. Nate and Blair arrive at Serena's place. Serena admits that she messed up with Gabriel, but Blair and Nate agree to help.
I loved Blair here. It's not something I wanted to be right about.
Mm-hmm. And
then instantly I'm here for my friend.
Don't tell me he gave you scabies. If only.
Yeah.
Also arriving is Chuck and Georgina, who says she just wants to apologize to Blair.
I really like Georgina here.
Yeah.
I really like her in this entire episode.
I told you, they lean into her style going forward.
Really do. It is a 180 from last year where I couldn't stand Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Georgina. It was I couldn't stand Michelle Trachtenberg. And this year, Michelle Trachtenberg has been awesome.
So originally, Josh Schwartz wanted Misha Barton for the part, but she turned him down. I think she would have worked better for the original version of Georgina.
You think so? I could.
She has that charisma.
She does.
She draws people in. She's not a great actress, but she draws people in.
I guess my concern with her is that I find her to be a little flat.
Yeah, she's definitely flat, but she still is able to just draw people in solely based on her looks.
Yeah.
The non-judging breakfast club is now gathered in Serena's room. Serena is leaving a voicemail for Gabriel stating that she is pregnant.
She's so fucking stupid. The whole but I know there had to be something real there beneath it. Did there, Serena?
Well, she was right, so.
But although was she? I don't know if he was. I still don't believe he was telling the truth.
I think he was, because if, like you said, if he didn't have feelings, he would have just left like he was supposed to. He should have been arrested here.
Well, he should have been arrested here, but they're stupid. They're so fucking dumb about how they handle it.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if he's not the main culprit, even if it is all Poppy putting this scheme together, he's still doing it. Mm-hmm. He is still involved in this Ponzi scheme that is still illegal and still involved with not having your money.
Well, like you said, he was, she was originally a mark, but I think he did sort of fall for her because everyone falls for Serena Vanderwoodson. Mm-hmm. Dan arrives and finds out that the investment is fake. Serena begs him not to tell Rufus so that she can handle it.
Yeah, kids are going to handle it because your mom gave you a bracelet. Not that your mom's going to handle it any better.
Well, she's going to make it go away.
She'll make it go away.
But yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Just when it seems that things can't get any worse, Georgina barges in and everyone starts yelling at each other. However, they are saved by the bell as Gabriel does call back.
Her entrance, when it's going to take an act of God, and she just walks in, and it pauses, and you have that moment of like, oh, they all look at her, and then they scream at each other, and they're all fighting, and you brought her here, and oh my God, I loved it.
Yeah.
Again, that's writing and directing. That there's not even much that the actors needed to do because there was just such great timing in that scene.
And that is the end of Act 1. We move into Act 2. Serena is meeting with Gabriel as she calls him out on his scheme. Chuck enters backed by security guards and threatens to call the feds. Gabriel claims that Poppy has the money.
Serena wants to be loved for who she is so badly that she will accept anyone telling her that they do.
Yeah.
And that's where I didn't necessarily think that Gabriel was telling the truth. I think that he heard, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, shit, this is going to come back on me. I better do something about it, was my impression of him. I also don't think Armie Hammer is a fantastic actor either. I think he's quite terrible at conveying anything. I believe that you need to have human emotion, not eat human emotion in order to act. And I think he just lacks it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that lends a lot to the discrepancy between our view of what happened there, because I don't think that he conveys anything very well.
True.
Except smarmy asshole.
Dan finds Lily and spills the tea. Lily says he did the right thing and that she will take care of the situation quickly and quietly.
Y'all should know Dan can never keep his mouth shut. Never.
Yeah. And I like how they're finding new and creative ways to hide the baby bump.
Yeah.
She's wearing like a jacket, a wrap, and she's got a Birkin bag in front of her.
It's really funny because I actually thought that maybe she already had the baby from one of the other scenes where it looked like she had, like they were still covering, but she had less. Because, sometimes you still carry that weight a little while. But
yeah, like she's wearing a jacket inside the whole episode.
Yeah, she is. Indeed.
Back at the restaurant, Gabriel is explaining to Serena and Chuck that his Ponzi scheme with Poppy. Gabriel reiterates that in the end, Poppy took the money and screwed him over as well.
Yeah, this is where we get the socialite ball line. I swear you were just a mark at the beginning, but I fell in love with you. It's so lame. If he did fall in love with her, it's just as lame as
the reason why, because if he didn't fall in love, there's zero reason for him to show up here and zero reason to explain everything.
Unless it's all a lie and Poppy was like, well, here's how you have to handle this new thing. Because because the last time we saw the two of them together, Poppy and Gabriel, they were super happy, but they were like, oh, she's on her way here. We better clear out of here. And then Poppy came back. It all felt very planned and rehearsed to me.
Well, yes. And then, but it's explained, like, she was going to buy him out, but she took all the money out of the account and didn't show up.
But they were very they acted romantically involved when they were by themselves.
Yeah, I think he's just a himbo.
Yeah, largely that the way that he and Poppy were when they found out Serena was coming back, that's what told me it's all a lie.
Again, you get different writers for each episode. So
yeah,
in this episode, it was written as if that he did have feelings for her.
I didn't get that.
Nate and Blair are still bickering outside the hotel, with Georgina begging for Blair's forgiveness. Gabriel, Chuck, and Serena exit. Gabriel still wants to pursue a relationship with Serena, but she says he's got to go.
Yeah. I don't really have anything for that.
The non-judging Breakfast Club drafted an unwilling Georgina into the war against Poppy. It sounds like they have a plan. Gossip Girl has this to say. Looks like Georgina's losing her religion, whereas B met her match in the battle for G's soul.
When Georgina says to Blair, everyone's forgiven me except for you. That's not how forgiveness works, Georgina. You can't just, everyone else is doing it. I'm just waiting on you to forgive me.
And has everyone really forgiven her?
No, I don't believe anybody has. Yeah. The other thing I had here was when they let Gabriel go, and Serena's like, oh, he won't be hard to find. The guy that just took all of your money and can disappear at any second won't be hard to find. If he is lying right here, Serena, he can just go right to the airport and be gone.
I guess Chuck's PIs are able to find people anywhere.
Yeah, I guess so.
Lily is going over the list of investors with Bruce Kaplan when Serena arrives at home. Lily pulls Serena aside and absolutely eviscerates her with words. Lily tells Serena to just stay out of it because Mother knows best. After Serena leaves, she tells Bruce that they are going to do something a little different with Rufus's payout.
Yeah, Lily once again being concerned about appearances and how it's going to look on her and Serena.
Speaking of Rufus, he is walking down the street with Eric, who is underwhelmed by Rufus's proposal ideas. However, ultimately, Eric is happy and welcomes Rufus to the family.
Yeah. Again, Eric being the most pragmatic and adult person here is basically saying, are you sure my mom is the one you want to marry?
Also, another good setup for later in the episode when Rufus says Lily is nothing like Cece, and Eric just kind of gives him a look like, you sure about that?
Yeah. And it's so true.
Yeah.
And I love how Eric knows this.
Yeah.
Eric knows his mom. Eric knows his grandmom. And Eric is the most grounded Upper East Sider on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him to have that reaction, I love Eric.
Meanwhile, Blair is using Georgina's desire for forgiveness to push her into helping with the scheme to take down Poppy. However, just as Blair is able to convince G, S calls B to call off the plan.
Two things. The first is that the list of things that Blair says that Georgina did that she needs forgiveness for, she didn't do to Blair. She did to Serena.
Well, she didn't really, at least on the show, she has not really done anything directly to Blair. So why is she even asking for Blair's forgiveness?
Exactly. Other than, to me, it's the history of them that she needs forgiveness for. So the fact that Blair, I kind of wished they would have made stuff up that wasn't in the show that she did to Blair to get forgiveness, like they did when Georgina got sent to her parents.
Yeah.
In the previous time. The other thing about this, if you cut revenge out of the Bible, it's really just a pamphlet.
How did you know my favorite passage?
And you shall know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
I think Blair watches Pulp Fiction a lot.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Serena is disgusted when she comes out of her room to find Lily having polite tea with Poppy. Lily reiterates the best thing to do is let her and it go. Who gives a fuck about the next guy? Am I right?
Yeah, Lily sucks in this episode. Lily, it's funny because I often root for Lily. I usually like Lily a lot in a lot of what she does. And yet, this episode made her a complete villain while sticking 100% true to character, which I thought was really, really well done. Showing the really negative side of this person who is usually a very good cast member, one of the better people, and often a better voice of reason sometimes for a lot of things. And for her to really suck for a whole episode really made for good TV.
Yeah. We'll get more into it in the stock watch, but even though this is a great episode, not a lot of people are going up.
No. Yeah,
why did that?
I had the same thing. Yeah, really, to go up in this one, you had to be on screen for like 5 seconds or less.
Dan, alone in the loft, gets a call from the business manager who lets him know that Rufus is going to start receiving dividends in about 6 weeks.
Yep, another guy just, here's some important business information for you, for your dad, kid. Who does this?
It must actually have been a secretary again.
Yeah. But it had to be a receptionist or secretary because every one of them on this show should be fired.
Maybe Dan should actually have his future career.
Yeah, he could, because then he can tell everybody everything all the time.
Yes. Serena goes to Blair's house. Looks like the plan is back on. Poppy must pay. Georgina is going to pretend to be a rich Canadian who just moved to New York and is planning on meeting Poppy for tea.
I loved it. I loved the non-judging breakfast club talking with each other. Nate with the, are we sure we shouldn't just call the cops? But the way it was cut, the way it was edited, the way it was directed, and
yeah, that's actually the next scene after the commercial break.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So
you're right.
Yeah. We come back from the commercial, and the NJBC is ironing out the plan when Serena gets a call from Dan. Serena is passive-aggressive because Dan ratted her out, but still tells Dan that the plan is still on.
Yes. And yeah, like I said, I love them being together here. I loved that they all contributed. They all shot lines in.
Chuck smelling Georgina. Smells of aspiration.
So fucking creepy.
Rufus and Jenny are at the penthouse setting up for Rufus' proposal when Lily gets home earlier than expected. Jenny whisks her up the stairs to distract her.
Little Jay with her sweet little pep talk for Dad. I loved it. I love how nervous Rufus is and how Jenny gives him the pep talk, and I love how supportive she is.
And Jenny's rapid fire explanation of Twilight is so of the time.
Oh, yeah.
The NJBC plus G arrives in New York's famous Russian tea room. The girls enter, but Nate holds Chuck back for a private conversation about their little love triangle with Blair.
Yeah, I was again on Team Nate here. And I was very much like, because Nate isn't saying you have to back off, you have to leave her alone. He's saying you have to decide if this is what you want or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because this is what I want.
Yeah.
And so if you don't want it, get out of the way. And if you do, say something so we can work it out.
Yeah.
I felt that was a lot better than last week where he was trying to piss a circle around Blair.
I agree. Dan calls Lily and asks about the dividends, and then once again spills the tea on Serena's plan at the Russian tea room.
Fucking narc. Dan is such a fucking narc.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. When Dan is a narc, I don't typically think he's doing the wrong thing. I believe Serena's doing the wrong thing in this instance. Although
Lily might not be the best person to tell.
Well, and Lily's not the best person to tell. And the other thing is, Lily isn't handling it any better. Like, Serena's handling of it is almost better than Lily's, because at least Serena's, if it would have been executed properly, could prevent her Poppy from doing this to other people.
Not really, though, because the cops were not the plan.
It was the PI.
They were going to blackmail her into giving the money back, but then let her go.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
it's not much better.
So honestly, I mean, Lily's plan is not good for future victims, but it is good for getting the situation solved and swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Lily immediately calls Serena and orders her to stop the plan. However, Serena ignores her and tells her she's got to go and hangs up.
Yep.
And then while Lily is making another call, Rufus is still setting up for the proposal when he stumbles across the investor payout list and sees that he is getting more than the rest. According to the spreadsheet, he only invested $40,000, but is going to be receiving indefinite monthly payments of $5,000.
So first of all, your entire music catalog was only worth $40,000, because that's what you were saying you were gonna use to invest, and you sold it for $40,000. That doesn't seem like a lot to sell the publishing rights. I feel like he'd be making more off of them than that. And also, why are you snooping, Rufus? You found this document that is other people's financial business. Why are you snooping?
I like how it's just in there with bags of money, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's how they keep their money.
Probably they'd have like dollar signs on them. Poppy is meeting Georgina's new alter ego, Cheryl Lynn. Gossip Girl has this to say before going to break. They say that numbers don't lie and money talks, but does Georgina still speak Poppy's language?
I love Georgina. The Sex and the City, like, playing into the whole I'm a damsel in distress socialite, or I'm trying to be in this circle and trying to do these things. She plays into it so well. And it made me think she's still using all of the Christian motif in it. But you see the schemer in here.
Yeah.
You see the person who loves taking on this character and running a scheme and plays it so well by being disarming and be almost self-humiliating. Because you know that if you were to actually say to somebody like Poppy Lipton, "Are you a Carrie?" that they would
laugh in your face. And we move into Act 3. At the Russian tea room, Blair and Chuck are waiting for a text from Georgina, but Blair uses it as an opportunity to give Chuck one more chance to admit his feelings. Chuck once again fails to man up.
I like that Blair says, "We'll figure it out, all of us."
Yeah.
I recognize that if you and I happen, there's a problem with Nate, but we will all work this out. You just have to let me know. Also, stupid Chuck.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Serena overhears their conversation, and once Blair walks away, Chuck admits that he does love Blair, but he can't make her happy.
Poor Chuck. I think that the real turning point, and this goes back to the conversation that he had with Blair, I think the real turning point was when Blair said to him, "You just want me to be as miserable as you are." And I think that really moved something in Chuck, that he loves this person and never wants her to be as miserable as he is.
Yeah. Georgina is roping Poppy in for the takedown, but it seems to stumble when Poppy demands cash.
Again, Georgina's staying in character, having the whole, my sweet Bible camp, if I can ask my daddy for more money, and I loved it.
Nate enters the restaurant and lets Serena and Blair know that the police are outside.
Yeah, something's not right here. Immediately, I was like...
That wasn't the plan.
Yeah, I was like, the police? That wasn't the plan.
Georgina gets a text from Blair that the cops are outside, so reluctantly hands Poppy the bag.
Bag of cash.
Serena goes outside to get the cops and come in and arrest Poppy, but it turns out that Serena is the one being arrested. As Serena is being cuffed, she tells Blair and Nate to call Chuck. Poppy slips off in the confusion.
Yeah. Lily is having her daughter arrested to protect her reputation?
I do get it, because she does explain it a little more later when...
This can go away.
And, getting arrested is not the thing that's going to hurt her reputation. It's conning her friends and family, into losing money.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing.
I do get that.
And we go to commercial and come back for the epilogue. Blair enters the restaurant and blames a dumbfounded Georgina for setting them all up.
Oh, B. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
I get why you're suspicious, but that's a mistake, B.
Yeah. You pushed a little too hard.
Although, the way that this wraps up, maybe she pushed her in the exact right direction, too.
Yeah. See what happens. Rufus confronts Lily about the list and her ultimate repayment plan for him. Rufus gets extremely self-righteous, and Lily was wrong to go behind Rufus' back, but I totally understand where she's coming from when she told him how hard it was to watch him agonize about paying for dance tuition.
Awesome. You wouldn't let me send my kid to jail. How come you get to send your kid to jail and I can't send my kid to jail?
I mean, it's a fair point.
It is. It's also, I thought that was just a really funny moment for him. To be like, wait, you wouldn't let me do that.
Well, I think at this point, Rufus does realize that was the wrong move.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. And I think that him seeing someone else do it reinforces that it was the wrong move.
But let her play for college. Seriously.
But seriously, like, you have a ridiculously wealthy billionaire wife, soon to be fiance, if you didn't bail because she wants to help you out. And I do understand the embarrassment angle for Rufus if that was a public thing. Now, I also understand it's kind of condescending to slip him money behind his back.
Behind the back is wrong.
Yeah.
But when she offered it, just take it.
Yeah.
99% of the population can't afford to send their kids to Yale.
Yeah. And your girlfriend is like, here is the money for it. It's like, it's basically like if you bought a sandwich.
At the police station, Serena discovers that it was Lily that had her arrested for stealing, quote unquote, the tennis bracelet that Lily gave her at the beginning of the episode. Again, very good setup and payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really well done.
Rufus finds out that Lily had Serena arrested and then points out the hypocrisy of stopping him from doing the same to Jenny earlier in the season. Rufus decides that the proposal was a big mistake.
Oh, I jumped ahead. I didn't realize I jumped ahead there.
Yeah, the first conversation was more arguing about the money. And then he finds out, because she gets the call, and Rufus is like, what was that about? And he's like, Serena's arrested.
Yeah,
I was kind of arrested.
I was thinking that was all the same scene, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I had her arrested. I'll go with you. No, it's all right. You don't have to. Okay, fine. I did.
I'm going to let her stew there for a while first.
You wouldn't let me put my kid in a cop car, but you're going to have your kid stew in jail for a couple days.
Outside the police station, Nate and Blair mutually decide that moving in together isn't the right move right now. However, Pra might be a bit more suitable considering their ages.
Very mature conversation.
Yeah.
Both of them were like, this is where this came from, and it wasn't okay.
Yeah. We are 18. Let's no rush to move
Let's go to prom first.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
You should ask me to play prom first. Yeah. Cute. And very grown up. I liked it.
And then the episode ending montage begins with Georgina calling Blair to tell Blair that she is going after Poppy. It appears Georgie is back to her old self. Tell Jesus that the bitch is back.
That I loved it. I thought she was so great. And seeing the, I don't want to say heel turn, but almost seeing the sunglasses on
Yep.
and the I am not that sweet little girl anymore. You brought it out of me.
And it is one of the most iconic lines from the show.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Watching this episode, now I understand why Shannon wanted to be on a Georgina episode so bad. Watching this, now I understand why Shannon loves Georgina so much.
Lily is drinking alone. Rufus arrives home and tells Dan and Jenny to return the ring before sulking off to his room.
Mr. fucking dramatic pants. At least this time, it's an adult conflict between Rufus and Lily and not how many people did you bang. Because the last time they had a conflict, it was silly and juvenile.
And this is a little silly and juvenile too, because it's just about Rufus' pride.
It is. And Lily trying to sneak him money that he wouldn't accept otherwise. And another piece of this that I keep reflecting on is if Lily gave you a $5,000 a month allowance like this thing is, no one would know. No one would know except for you and Lily. Your kids don't even have to know. So what is the embarrassment? And I'll also say this from my point of view where for the past 6 years, my wife supported me. You know, I was on workers' comp. I was injured. I couldn't work. Wasn't allowed to make money. And my wife had to cover the bills, had to cover most of our expenses, most of my things that I would need from day to day. And yes, it is. I understand the embarrassment angle of not being able to support yourself because I've lived that firsthand. But this isn't even not being able to support yourself. And the only people that knew that Robin was doing that was me and Robin and anyone that we trusted with that information. And now all of you. But because again, I'm also not the prideful person that Rufus is. I knew I was in a situation that I could not provide what I wanted to.
And were you already married when you went on disability?
Yeah.
So that's slightly different.
There is, you're right. There is that difference that we were already married.
Yeah.
We were married. We were already married, but for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So it was new. We were only married that summer. We were married in July. I was hurt in November.
Chuck, Nate, and Blair are each using their own unique methods of persuasion to get Serena out of jail.
I loved
Great scene.
loved this.
So you got Chuck trying to blackmail. Nate's using his family,
grandfather and the mayor connections.
And Blair's just using her entitled whining.
It was so great. I loved it. It just felt so. I want more of the non-judging Breakfast Club doing stuff. I feel like this is the second time that they've done a story with them. Both times it was the end of the season, so I'm assuming that that's going to become an end of season thing because I know that they have those patterns, and I'm excited for that. I loved this.
Yeah. And then the final scene of the episode is Serena getting her now infamous mugshot taken, and Gossip Girl ends the episode. Oh no, we warned you that no good would come from spinning a wicked web. You just got tangled up in your own lies. And the more you twist, the tighter the trap, until you're locked in a prison of your own making. Smile for the camera, S. XO, XO, Gossip Girl.
The only lie Serena told is that she was pregnant.
Well, I mean, I guess it's the whole montage is, it's broken up. I put it all together just because it sounds better, but yeah, it's broken up over all those final scenes.
And all of it all falling. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. The mugshot is great.
It's all over the internet, and it actually comes back in the show. It's like there's various shots of it throughout.
I should get one of those hung up in here. Yeah. Which Serena mugshot next to the other Gossip Girl posters.
Yes, but that is our episode. What's coming next?
So, I am predicting. I'm going to start with Georgina. That Georgina is going to work her own scheme to fix the Poppy situation and get her money back. And in doing so is going to have a greater turn to then target either Blair or the non-judging Breakfast Club that will result in her having to be shuffled off again, like at the end of last season.
So we got 24. So we got 2 more episodes.
Two more episodes.
Is that going to happen this season?
Yes. Yeah. I believe that the next episode is her going after Poppy. And then the season finale is going to be her going after the rest. Or maybe just Blair. But I feel like there's going to be a greater turn against them to leave it into the next season for when she eventually comes back next season. Okay. Is she always an end of season thing, or is she... I also predict that Rufus and Lily are going to be fine. Robin is like, they're broken up. They're going to break up. This is it. They're broken up now. And I'm like, this is too central to the show. This relationship is way too important to this show to end. So I think they're going to be fine.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, let's get into some segments then. This week in fandom, we jumped into the Wayback Machine to visit the Television Without Pity forums from 2009.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman. Hello. Good boy.
Overall, it was a good episode. Most people really liked it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Eric is the only sane Vanderwoodson.
Eric is the only sane Upper East Sider. Let's broaden that umbrella a little bit.
Most fans are bored and over the Chuck and Blair back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm glad that's finally done.
Dan needs to shut his trap and go back to Brooklyn.
Narc.
Blair is going to regret pushing Georgina over the edge.
Agreed. That is my big prediction.
Yeah. And finally, Rufus, get over yourself.
Get over yourself. Take the money. Put your kid through college. The college you dreamt of his whole life. That he got into.
You were willing to take financial aid. Why is that any different?
Yeah. Taking financial aid from taxpayers versus somebody who hardly pays taxes. That would be a write-off for her.
Yeah.
Charitable donation.
The Dan Humphrey Foundation.
Dan Humphrey Foundation. You can start a foundation and have a tax write-off. You're benefiting her, Rufus.
Well, let's move into episode grades. What do you got this week?
A. And bordering A+. This is definitely top 5 episodes. This is one of the best episodes of Gossip Girl so far.
Yeah, I agree. Writing was on point. Directing was very good. Acting was good. Yeah, we didn't even mention it, but the Leighton tearing up in the Chuck and Blair scene.
It was perfect. We don't talk about her acting as much as we used to because it's just a given. But yeah, brilliant.
And I'm gonna just go ahead and give it the A+.
Yeah, it deserves it. You know what? I'll do it too. I'm gonna give it the bump. I'm gonna give it the A+ bump. It was super smooth, which is another thing. Like Gossip Girl often has hang-ups somewhere in an episode that you kind of go, what? Why would they do that? And in this, when they did it, my big, why would they do that was letting Gabriel go. But it was also so in character for everything going on.
And the biggest plus is that everyone's story was intertwined.
Yes. Everyone's story. Everyone.
You didn't have Dan and Vanessa like sitting off in the loft drinking by themselves, and
right.
Everyone was coming together.
Yeah. You pretty much had every character in the room with every other character at some point in this episode. when Dan walks in and when Georgina walks in, we got to get this crazy out of here.
Going on over to Stockwatch, who you got going up?
I had Poppy going up because she seems to be getting away with this. I had Eric going up for being Eric. I had Jenny going up as well. And yeah, those are my ups.
I have the exact same thing. Poppy's winning the scheme. Eric was sane and pragmatic as usual. And Jenny was being a good supportive daughter and helping out, being a good wing woman for her dad, which is a little bit weird, but she was doing her job.
Yeah.
Who do you got going down?
Serena, Lily, Rufus, and Chuck. I didn't give it to Blair because I felt like Blair kind of landed in the middle because she's still working things out with Nate. I didn't give up or down to Nate because I feel like he landed right where he was previously. I felt like a lot of people didn't go anywhere, but Serena in jail, Lily being a horrible mom and pretty shitty girlfriend, Rufus being a shitty boyfriend, and Chuck just being shitty.
So I had the same 4 as you, but also I'm going to add Dan because once again, it looks like he's losing his tuition for like the 3rd time.
I was I should put Dan on there. I was really back and forth on Dan because I felt like he was doing the right thing in the episode despite losing his tuition again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was doing the right thing, but yeah, again, he's losing his tuition for like the 3rd time now. I also had Nate and Blair because they're both with people that, I mean, Blair is not in love with Nate, and Nate is with someone that doesn't love him.
That's fair.
I also have Georgina going down because she lost her Bible money.
The reason I didn't have because I thought of that too, but other than the Bible money, I had Georgina going up because she was awesome in the whole episode.
She was awesome, but it was not what she wanted to happen.
Yeah.
She like I said, Lily was also entertaining, but she was horrible.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm keeping Georgina even for now because I want to see what she does.
Yeah.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
Who do you got for best outfit?
Georgina. The purple outfit, the purple dress with the purple headband, I just thought it really popped. It really communicated the angle she was going for, the wholesome yet stepping into society look. I really enjoyed that outfit.
For me, it was Jenny's leather jacket with the black mini and like the assortment of necklaces.
Yeah.
The jacket and the necklaces really made it work.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Well, that is it for segments. You got anything to plug this week?
I do. On March 15th, I will be at Dawson Street Pub playing some Black Sabbath songs. There will be a night of Black Sabbath music with a few different bands, and then they asked me to come and do a few ukulele Black Sabbath covers. So I will be doing that on March 15th at Dawson Street Pub in Roxborough, Manayunk, Philadelphia, whatever part you want to call it.
I think Jake Shikamboro does do a Black Sabbath song. You might want to look into that.
Okay. Right now, I'm definitely doing Sweet Leaf because of my affection for the Sweet Leaf. I really want to do something from the Glenn Hughes era. I find him to be a phenomenal... I can't sing like Glenn Hughes, but I find him to be a phenomenal singer, and I really like some of his work with Sabbath. And I also kind of feel like I have to do something from the Dio era, because I fucking love Dio. I'm thinking maybe Heaven and Hell.
Nothing for me to plug this week, so I will just go ahead and give you my socials. I'm on Instagram and on Blue Sky, Hot Capicola. That's HOTCAPICOLA. And you can follow the podcast at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want to check out our Discord server or our Patreon, just check out our website at www.nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
I'll also plug my TikTok is steve.marchand, and my Instagram is also at steve.marchand, MARCHION, and my Blue Sky is at The Weed Wizard. And also, if you would like to get in touch with the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, we would love to hear from you, so please send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts and read them on air. And while you're at it, if you could go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe or follow, and if you could leave a comment telling us about what you think of the episode, that really helps us with our visibility in Apple Podcasts and also just helps boost the algorithm. And finally, while you're at it, if you could tell a friend what you are listening to, we would really appreciate that. Get your friends listening to the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. Make us the water cooler talk this week at work.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will be back next week to talk about Season 2, Episode 24, the penultimate episode of the season, titled Valley Girls.
Very excited.
The Max episode description reads, flashback to Lily's life in the 80s.
Oh!
And this was actually a failed backdoor pilot.
No kidding.
They were trying to make a show of Lily and Rufus in the 80s, and supposedly they're going to rope in Sandy and Kirsten from the OC as well. It's going to be a big crossover universe, but it never happened.
I'd watch that.
I would watch that too, especially when you see the casting. They did very good casting.
I'm excited.
Lily and her sister.
I'm excited. Her sister. We have never heard of Lily's sister.
Ah.
We've never even heard Cece mention Lily's sister. I don't even know the writers know Lily has a sister.
Well, she does starting next week.
I think they find out this week. Wait, she has a sister? Just everybody in the writer's room when Josh Schwartz comes in, and then her sister, and they're all like, wait, what?
Well, until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me